You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted best of Pahrump for 4 years. Give them a call, 775-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New, service, and repair. Call Gunny's, 775-727-6800.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry. Thanks for joining us on 8th Country Radio, and we're also streaming at KPVM.TV. We're also on your Roku devices. It is Tuesday, October 7th. In our top story, a tragic crash in Las Vegas leaves one motorcyclist dead and another driver facing felony DUI charges. Haley Grabby reports.
A motorcyclist was recently killed in a DUI crash in northwest Las Vegas. According to Channel 3 News, the incident happened on October 4th when a Kia turned left from northbound Old Grove into the path of the motorcyclist identified as Falkoff. Falkoff was ejected from his bike and taken to UMC Trauma, where he later died from his injuries. Las Vegas police identified the driver of the Kia as 44-year-old Christopher Voss. He remained at the scene but showed signs of impairment, which led to his arrest. Voss appeared in court on Tuesday, October 6th, with attorneys. They acknowledged he was being charged with a felony DUI resulting in substantial bodily harm. He pleaded not guilty. His next court appearance is scheduled for January 6th. Voss is being held on a $50,000 bond and is prohibited from purchasing or consuming alcohol or drugs.
In more area news, an overpopulation of wild burros is prompting federal action near a small town here in Nevada. The Bureau of Land Management is set to begin an emergency gather to reduce and herd and protect in the name of public safety.
The Bureau of Land Management is launching an emergency wild burro gather near the town of Beatty in Nye County, starting as early as today, October 7th. The operation will target about 250 excess burros in and around the Bullfrog herd management area. The BLM says the gather is necessary to reduce overpopulation and protect public safety, especially along Highway 95, as well as prevent damage to nearby private land. Current estimates show nearly 1,200 burros roaming the area, which is well above the appropriate range of just 58 to 91 animals for that landscape. Unlike traditional gathers that use helicopters, this one will rely on bait and water traps, temporary corrals stocked with hay and water to safely lure in the animals. Captured burros will be transported to a facility in Axtell, Utah for health checks and may later become available through the BLM's Wild Horse and Burro Adoption and Sale program. Only essential personnel will be allowed near trap sites to avoid disturbing the animals during the gather. The BLM says it will follow humane care standards and best practices in line with federal animal welfare guidelines. Panning documents for the gather are available on the BLM's National NEPA Register.
And Costco is entering the weight loss medication market now because it's offering Ozempic. News 25 now has the latest medical details.
Costco has begun selling Ozempic and Wegovy for $500 per month out of pocket. Many people are also turning to off-brand versions of Ozempic that claim to offer similar or even better results. The growing demand for more affordable GLP-1 medications have been driven by people seeking cost-effective options for weight loss. David Moore, president of Novo Nordisk, said, "We want to make sure we offer the real, authentic Wegovy and Ozempic where patients seek care. Currently, Ozempic and Wegovy have more than 200,000 weekly prescriptions in the U.S. According to GoodRx, Ozempic takes 4 to 5 weeks to reach a steady level in the body and at least 8 weeks to help reduce glucose levels and weight." Costco began selling Ozempic in 2024, offering a 3-month supply for $179. However, that price did not include the full cost of the medication, and for those without insurance, the total would exceed $1,000.
And just one more sleep until the Las Vegas Aces play Game 3 in the WNBA Finals. Go, Aces, go. And one more sleep until the Vegas Golden Knights start their 2025-26 season. Mikey Ruhan has all that and more in sports.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices. Game 3 between the Las Vegas Aces and the Phoenix Mercury tips off Wednesday in Phoenix, where the Mercury are hoping to regroup and maybe sneak into Jackie Young's hotel room to hide her alarm clock. Hollywood's Glenn Powell is trading cockpits for pit stops this weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Top Gun Maverick star, also seen in Twisters and Anyone But You, has been named Grand Marshal for the South Point 400. So yes, if you hear a guy yelling, "I feel the need for speed," it's either Powell or somebody who shouldn't be driving. Over on the ice, Golden Knights veteran defenseman Alex Pietrangelo has officially been shut down for the 2025-26 season. The team made the announcement when they submitted their opening night roster approved by Pietrangelo, the league, and the NHLPA. The Knights will get full relief from his $8.8 million cap hit, which in Vegas terms, is just enough to cover one round of blackjack, a steak dinner, and maybe a single Golden Knights beer. And finally, Pahrump Valley Trojans hit the road this Friday to face Moapa Valley. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Thanks so much, Mikey. And as we head to break, we're letting you know that today is the ultimate Taco Tuesday because it's National Taco Day. Details on that and more when News 25 returns.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, grab the spicy salsa and guacamole because today is National Taco Day. And if you don't know the history behind it, News 25's Samantha Robert has that story.
Today, October 7th, marks National Taco Day, a celebration that's evolved as much as the taco itself. The taco's roots run deep in Mexican culture, dating back centuries to indigenous peoples who filled handmade tortillas with fish, meats, and vegetables. The word taco originally referred to paper-wrapped gunpowder charges used by miners in the 18th century, later becoming the name for their quick, handheld meals. Tacos made their way north to the United States in the early 1900s, becoming a symbol of cultural fusion and flavor. By the 1960s, American fast food chains helped bring the taco into mainstream dining. Originally observed every October 4th, National Taco Day now lands on the first Tuesday in October, aligning with the popular Taco Tuesday. The change, driven by restaurants and food lovers alike, reflects how this humble street food has become a nationwide favorite, uniting people over a shared love of spice, flavor, and tradition. So, whether you're celebrating with carne asada, al pastor, or veggie tacos, today is the perfect excuse to grab a taco and enjoy a taste of history.
Happy National Hispanic Heritage Month and National Taco Day. And speaking of holidays, Halloween is just around the corner, and one local business is getting ready to celebrate in a very big way. Smith's is inviting our community to join them for a night of spooky fun at the 5th annual Trunk or Treat event at Smith's.
It's all happening Friday, October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. at 601 South Highway 160. Smith's promises an evening full of Halloween magic with tons of candy, fun games, spooky photo ops, and of course, dozens of creatively decorated trunks and boots. They are also looking for local businesses, volunteers, and community members to get involved by decorating a trunk or setting up a booth. It's a fun way to connect with local families and show off your Halloween spirit. If you'd like to take part, you can email pahrump.trunktreats@gmail.com or call 775-727-2400 or just send them a message on Facebook. So grab your costumes and bring the whole family. It's going to be a night to remember at Smith's.
In addition to it being National Hispanic Heritage Month, October is also National Bullying Prevention Month. And in today's health news, reports show 1 out of every 5 students has unfortunately experienced bullying, with it happening most at school. So what can parents do to protect their children?
Today's health report is brought to you by Desert View Hospital. When you or a loved one needs medical attention, Desert View Hospital is ready to help. We've been providing friendly and compassionate care to our neighbors since 2006, including emergency services available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit desertviewhospital.com to learn more. With limited exceptions, physicians are not employees or agents of this hospital.
For parents, first of all, when your child comes home and says, so-and-so's being mean to me, don't overreact. Don't turn it into, I'm going to go call their parents. I'm going to call the teacher. Well, what happened? Then what? What did he do then? What did you do? What happened then? Just listen and let your child talk. Sometimes they can talk it through. And then in the end, they're like, but we're still friends. Like, okay. Yay, that's good. I'm glad you worked it out. If we overreact as adults, kids then overreact.
Dr. Vanessa Jensen is a psychologist at Cleveland Clinic Children's. She says if the bullying persists, then it might be time to talk to the teacher. But again, it's best not to overreact. So what are some signs a parent may need to intervene? Dr. Jensen says if your child keeps making excuses for why they don't want to go to school or another activity that is a concern. For example, they keep saying their stomach hurts or have a headache. Dr. Jensen says sadly, bullying can't always be prevented, but you can teach your child different ways to respond.
Bullies are less likely to bully groups of kids than they are a single kid. So have somebody in each class, if you have multiple classes or in your main classes, have a couple people you know have your back. So that's one really good strategy for young kids. Ignoring is useful to a point. When it gets really mean, or it gets physical, then you have to bump it up.
Stay tuned, more electrifying news when we return.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back. Well, in today's powerful news, a career in systems operations at Valley Electric Association demands more than just a job title. It requires intense training, unwavering focus, and a relentless willingness to master new skills. Get an inside look now as the crews share their stories behind their powerful dedication.
This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Valley Electric and its family of companies focused on serving our members. We're better together.
So I started here in 1997 as a groundman. Went through a line apprenticeship, became a lineman. Within 5-6 years of being a lineman, I was asked if I wanted to become a third backup for our small dispatch center at that time. Mm-hmm. It was nothing like what we have now. Then with some early retirements and some movement, I became the dispatcher mm-hmm. all the time. Then we moved into this NERC world. Had to get a NERC certification, which is not an easy thing to do. Also did some work at the test site. I actually ended up going back to the line crew for a little while, and then was asked to come back in here as the lead, which is what Shane's position is called. So I oversaw the floor with the manager at that time leaving, I was moved into the manager position, and then Shane was brought up as the lead.
So I've been at Valley Electric for a little over 9 years. I've been doing the job that I'm doing for 20 years this year. So I started out in a small municipality in a power plant. So we were operating generators, and it was back, a lot of the generators that we had online at the time were stuff that had come from World War II era ships and stuff, and so they were engines, big giant engines that we'd still have to climb up on top of and oil by hand.
How I got into this job, I was in the nuclear Navy, so I was a Navy nuke. Started out in 2009 through the nuclear training pipeline, became a nuclear, what's called an electrician, so in the electrical field and reactor department. And then from there, we went from kind of transition from reactor, I guess, hands-on work into what this job kind of is, except on a aircraft carrier. So we were in a control center. We monitored and responded to outages specifically for the reactor plant and also the other load centers throughout the ship. So I liked that job. It was challenging. It kept you thinking all the time. So transitioning out of the Navy, I ended up working up in Washington State doing about the same thing. We were hydro generator oriented operation and also transmission, and then moved our family down here, and that's where I am now. Oh, I'm loving it. I love Pahrump. I love the desert, and we've been here since 2018, so it's been nice.
When I was in high school, I applied for a part-time internship as a high school intern for Valley Electric, and I worked in the engineering department doing small projects and paperwork and whatnot. And that slowly got me exposed to the power industry, and I showed a lot of interest in it. And I was asking around with different people that worked here and asking them about their job and what they've done in the past and everything. And that got me interested in working in the power industry. And I was blessed to receive an opportunity to work here after graduating from high school, and they gave me an opportunity to work in system operations, and I just took that, started working, and enjoy that job, and kind of been doing that ever since I started.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Time now to take an October day look at our Lerner and Rowe weather cam, and look at that beautiful blue sky and a hot air balloon floating. Not a cloud in the sky in that direction. It's a beautiful day to go coasting over Pahrump. A closer look in weather next.
Weather is sponsored by the Nevada Dairy Farmers and the Dairy Council of Nevada, sharing the love of all things dairy. Celebrate the best moments with milk. Milk the moment. And the weather is also brought to you by the Ponderosa Dairy, Nevada's largest dairy, fresh from our farm to your table.
Let's take a look now in weather in our surrounding areas of Pahrump, Las Vegas, and throughout the Silver State. And no one topped out above the century mark today. Death Valley's high only 95 with a low of 66 overnight. Las Vegas tops out at only 85 with lows dipping down into the 60s. Amargosa's high 87. Beatty tops out at 83. Goldfield's high 70 degrees. Tonopah's Utah's high, the lowest of the day, at only 68 degrees with lows overnight into the lower 40s. Carson City's high, 73 with a low of 44 today. And the usual weather twins of Fallon and Fernley topping out in the low 70s and overnight lows in the low 30s and the 40s. So we are currently at 84 degrees here in Pahrump with a high of 86 today. Winds out of the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour. Humidity at only 13%. Sunrise was at 6:44 a.m. And tonight we can expect overnight lows in the mid-50s with winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Humidity increases to 22%. Sunset is even earlier at 6:18. Now let's look ahead to our 7-day forecast, and there are scattered showers predicted in Las Vegas and areas of southern Nevada this weekend. But first, tomorrow we top out at 89 degrees with a low of 65, humidity at 19%. But that humidity increases with our chances of rain increasing, and humidity will be at 53% Thursday with a high of 86, low of 67. Friday tops out at only 82 with a low of 64. Saturday, same high, 82, but that low temperature dips into the mid-50s. Sunday and Monday, the beginning of our work week, we have highs in the upper 70s, lows in the mid-50s, and the same for the rest of the beginning of our work week. Watch out for humidity and the potential chances of rain scattered throughout southern Nevada. Well, that does it for this edition of News 25. I'm Unat Gentry, and from all of us here at KPVM and A's Country Radio, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the air next newscast. Good night.